morning, or good night, or good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to my second video driving to work, or driving back from work. Today I'm going to talk about 5 records that's in my collection that I just couldn't bring myself to sell. And they're in no order of favourite to least favourite. They're just in an order that I've just picked randomly. But these are definitely 5 albums that I could not get rid of. So my first one is the B-52s, and that's Cosmic Thing. And that, I believe, came out in 89. And that was the year I left school. So Cosmic Thing, I have spoke about this on a previous video. The B-52s was not a band I was really familiar with back in the day, and I know they've been out since, I do believe, since the 70s. And an album came out in 89 called Cosmic Thing, and one of my good friends at school, who was proper clued up on his music, and he introduced me to the Cosmic Thing by B-52s, and he's no longer with us anymore. And that's a bit of a sad story, actually, obviously. But I think the album from start to finish, it's just totally different to back then, the music I was listening to. It was nice to escape from, because I was really into my rock music back then. It was nice to escape to something totally different and not go to bed with a headache of listening to drums and guitar work on a total different bass. So if you haven't got the Cosmic Thing or B-52s, or you want to listen to it, just download it on Apple Music or whatever platform you use, Spotify or Amazon Music. Just give it a listen, because I think it's a fantastic album. And I have to own up, I've not actually listened to any more of B-52 albums. I've listened to the odd song where it's been played on a playlist, but Cosmic Thing, it's there in my heart. It's just a great album, and like I said, I'll repeat from start to finish. I could not get rid of it, and I own that on vinyl records, and I own it on a CD as well. But yeah, that's my first album. So the second album I choose, I can't get rid of, is my all-time favourite Beatles album. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm a Beatles fanatic, and my favourite album there is Rubber Soul. I think Rubber Soul is a great album, again from start to finish. It's a fantastic album, and again, it's just got some unique songs on there that I just could not, just can't put it down. I'll listen to Rubber Soul and I'll listen to it again. If I've got the time to play it a third time, I can just play it over and over again. Rubber Soul, it's just one of those albums for me. And obviously every album that I've got I can listen over and over again, but I have to have a couple of days gap between each time. But with Rubber Soul I can just keep playing it and playing it and playing it. So that's another album I could not get rid of. And Rubber Soul came out in 1965, so that was obviously 8 years before I was born. So my third album, and I spoke about this on my video yesterday, was my first album that I bought on vinyl, and that's Rocky IV Soundtrack. Again, I'm not a soundtrack man. I don't look at soundtracks and say, oh yeah, I've got to get that. But there are some that stick out for me. Lost Boys, another great soundtrack. My favourite film of all time, Lost Boys, but let me just not go into that. Rocky IV Soundtrack brings back a lot of memories. Out of school, getting into boxing as well. So obviously I watched Rocky IV 3 times and fought as hard as nails, as you do when you start boxing. You feel untouchable, nobody can touch you. And then, yeah, I do have a story to tell. My first job when I left school, I worked in a gym as an instructor, and there's a YTS scheme. Now, if you're not familiar with the YTS scheme, you're from the UK, US or overseas, it used to be £28 a week. So you have to work it out into your money. But it was £28 a week. It was a YTS scheme, and you did 1 day in college, and you did 4 days in wherever you worked. And I worked at a gym. It was at a YMCA gym. I'm not Christian. I'm not into religion, but the gym where I worked with my mate was a fantastic gym. We saw quite a few stars, rugby players there, and football stars and things like that. But this one guy, he was a Greek guy, and he was a lovely guy. And every time I played the Rocky IV soundtrack, like on a tape or a CD, whatever it was, it just get this burst of energy. He'd be doing sit-ups, and he just seemed just go for it, and he'd bang out another 100 sit-ups in like a minute and a half. I'm like, wow. And that's what Rocky IV soundtrack does to you. It's got that, the elements in the album and the sounds and the beats, it just gets you going. And that's what the album does to you. And still today, it's got some great songs, it's got some great lyrics. I just think it's one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life. And that came out in 85. Yeah, 1985. So I've had that album a long time, and again, it's just an album I can listen to over and over again. So I'm going to go back to 1989 for my fourth choice. Oh, sorry about that. And that is De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. Now, I do like my hip hop, I do like my R&B, and I think that album, when it came out, again, I believe was above its time. I think the album is fantastic. Still today, I listen to it. I listen to it in the car sometimes going home from work. I just think it's a great album. Some people may differ now. Some people may think it's a rubbish album compared to the rest of the stuff. But it's just one of those albums that it brought me into the hip hop scene. I was into hip hop, but this brought me to a different dimension. It brought me to the left and right of hip hop, because it's just so, again, I'm going to use the word unique. It's its own album. I think it's some fine work from De La Soul, and the little intros they put in there as well. Just make it up. It's like, and the little intros stick in your mind. And like me and my sister, she's 6 years younger than me, but she loves De La Soul and she loves her music, and we both bounce off each other with choices of music. And I can say, look, I can, repeat an intro from that album, and she'll go into a song about it. It's just one of those albums, and that's my opinion. So yeah, that was my fourth choice. And my last choice is an album that some people may not be familiar with. Again, back in the 80s, when breakdancing came to the scene, I dabbled a bit of breakdancing. I wouldn't say I was brilliant. I couldn't spin on my head up like that. I could not spin on my back. And still today, if I'm going to a wedding or something, I'll still pop out a few moves. But the album we're going to talk about now is it's called Street Sounds Electro 6. So these albums were originally the first albums that will go from one song to another without a break in between. There'd be no gap, and they would just basically just continuously just go on and on till the album's finished. And I'm not too sure how many albums that Street Sounds brought out, but Electro 6 again has a lot of memories for me, very good memories, because I used to have it on tape. My sister, my oldest sister, bought it on vinyl records, which I have in my possession right now. So I can't say I bought that album. I think I borrowed it and I never returned it. And I'm sure my sister does not have a record player, so it's not in her mind. So yeah, they are my albums that I cannot get rid of. So thank you for listening, thank you for subscribing, and wish you all the best. Bye bye.